You wanna guess the color of my underwear? You wanna know what I got?
Welcome back, my darlings. Welcome back. I'm so happy to have you back. Now, this is Front Row, Season 2, with your lovely Audrey Charlies. Now, before we talk about fashion, today, we need to talk about elegance. Because this month, fashion lost something it no longer knows how to produce. Valentino Garavani, not just a designer, not just a name, but a standard of behavior in beauty. Valentino never screamed for attention. He didn't need to. His walk whispered, and the entire room leaned in. The red, the discipline, the romance, the silence in his authority. And as I watch Milan and Paris Men's Fashion Week unfold, I kept asking myself a slightly uncomfortable question. Where does elegance live now? Because what we saw this month was spectacular, creative, loud, brilliant, but elegant? That's a different conversation. Milan, this season, felt like men remembering they have shoulders again. Structure, tailoring, presence, ego. And then Ralph Lauren walked back into Milan fashion after 20 years. Yes, he didn't come back to compete. He came back to remind the room what timeless looked like. American elegance stepping into Italian territory saying, "You've been busy, bitches. I've been eternal." D squared under Dean and Dan Catan arrived exactly as expected. Sexy, loud, youthful, slightly chaotic, with a hint of heated rivalry, entirely on brand. This square doesn't ask for approval. They ask if you have the stamina. Do you? Dolce & Gabbana with Domenico, Dolce and Stefano delivered a show I genuinely loved. The tailoring, the sensuality, the Italian masculinity, and yet the same conversation returns every season. You can admire the craft and still question the lack of diversity in casting. You can love the show and still expect evolution. That's called being a professional viewer. Prada, with Miuccia Prada and Ralph Simons, was intellectual masculinity at its finest. Clean lines, controlled power. And Giorgio Armani, they design posture, not clothes, fluid masculinity, quiet confidence. And then Milan did something very telling. Designers like Brunello Cucinelli chose a presentation instead of a show. And this is not laziness, my love. This is strategy. Luxury is stepping away from the circus it created. Less spectacle, more intimacy, less performance, more conversation. Fashion is getting tired of entertaining, and Paris was ready to explode. If Milan was discipline, Paris was creative freedom without adult supervision. Yes. Sakai under Chitose Habe was brilliant. Hybrid garment, layering, intelligence in construction. Sakai is fashion for people who think before they dress. Louis Vuitton under Pharrell Williams. Now, this was not a runway. This was a cultural event. Fashion, music, cinema, and street culture had a very expensive, very stylish child together. You couldn't look away. It was just fabulous, fabulous. Dior's man couture. Now, that was Jonathan Anderson's first trial for the Maison Dior. The reactions were divided. Confusion, passion. Was it always beautiful? No. Was it interesting? Absolutely. And sometimes, creating conversation is more powerful than creating consensus. Hermès and Veronique Nichenian, they delivered excellence as always. But emotionally, this was something else because this was her last show after 38 years. Now, just like Valentino, Elegance is leaving the room politely. Do you see the pattern? And then Paris gave us creative freedom with absolutely no supervision. Let's start with 3 Dot Paradis under Emeric Chachua. 3 Dot Paradis, or I should say 3 Point Paradis, feels like a poetic manifesto where menswear explores memory and myth, moving between tailoring and streetwear like echoes of a dream. It is described as a narrative journey through surreal storytelling and symbolic motifs that make you feel the clothes before you even understand them. I'm still processing what I watched, but I'm glad I did. Willy Chavaria. This is fashion as if fashion was a conscience. Oversized tailoring that feels like a manifesto for dignity and unity. I notice how emotionally charged and inclusive the show felt, even as some think whether the cultural message overshadow the clothes. But my love, when fashion makes you think and feel, then it has succeeded. Rick Owens is for me avant-garde luxury, where sculptural silhouettes feel like couture meeting performance art at midnight. Some say his show challenged the very idea of beauty, turning runway into something ritualistic rather than fashionable. I say you don't wear Rick Owens, you enter his universe. Acne Studios under Johnny Johansson. It's like they blur art and wearability with nodding restraint and quiet intelligence. His multidisciplinary route that make collection feels modern without trying too hard has always been praised. For me, it's quite cool for people who don't need logos. Amiri and Mike Amiri, Hollywood luxury with a rock and roll soul. Amari blend streetwear edge with elevated tailoring, proving Los Angeles cool belongs on the Paris stage. Rebellion, but very expensive. Now, the outsiders, the thinkers, the joyful chaos fashion desperately needed are, to me, Dries Van Noten, the intellectual poet of color, print, and quiet power. Junya Watanabe, the architectural mad scientist of fabrics and form, beautiful shoemaker. Kid Super and the Colm Dylan, the joyful chaos where fashion, art, and childhood imagination collide. Charles Jeffrey Loverboy, the theatrical punk romantic, rewriting British fashion codes. It was just beautiful, beautiful. The man did something good. Nota bene, I need to praise Saint Laurent for the men's collection, It wasn't on my list today, but then I saw the video and I thought I will say something. Beautiful, Anthony. Beautiful collection. As we close episode 1 of Front Row, season 2, what Men's Fashion Week showed us is simple. Elegance is fading, my love. Creativity is exploding. Now, remember that sentence. Creativity is exploding, and fashion is trying to decide what it wants to be when it grows up. Maybe the real question is not who had the best show, but who is still designing with grace. Because trends scream, but elegance, my love, always whisper. And if you listen closely in Milan and Paris, you can still hear it. Now, while we were watching menswear shake the room in Paris and Milan, haute couture quietly started unfolding behind the scenes. So, next Thursday, my love, we will step into the world where fashion stopped being worn and start being sculptured. It was such a pleasure to be back, and we're going to be back for a long time. Because season 2, unless I'm wrong, is going to run until mid-April. Thank you, my love, and see you next Thursday. Now, this will be available on all your platforms. Don't forget to share, follow, and like. See ya!
You wanna guess the color of my underwear. You wanna know what I got going on down there.